Have you ever made a choice in a single moment, a choice that cost you everything, only to discover later it was the very thing that saved your life? Before we begin, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this remind us that kindness, courage, and sacrifice still exist in the world, and you won't want to miss the ending of this one. It was a cold gray morning when Daniel Carter woke before sunrise, as he had every day for the past 8 years. His small apartment was quiet except for the gentle hum of the heater and the soft breathing of his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, sleeping in the next room. Daniel moved quietly through the kitchen, pouring cereal into a bowl and preparing a peanut butter sandwich for Lily's lunch. Life had not been easy since his wife Emma passed away in a car accident when Lily was only a baby. Daniel had been forced to become both father and mother overnight. Every day was a balancing act between working long hours as a delivery driver and being present for Lily. He never complained. His daughter's laughter made every sacrifice worth it. That morning, as Lily rubbed her sleepy eyes and sat at the kitchen table, Daniel smiled the same reassuring smile he always did. "Big math test today?" he asked. Lily groaned dramatically. "I think math hates me." Daniel chuckled. "Math doesn't hate you, it's just waiting for you to outsmart it." She grinned. "Like you outsmart traffic every day." "Exactly." They laughed together before Daniel walked her to the school bus stop. As the bus doors closed, Lily waved enthusiastically. Daniel waved back, unaware that the day ahead would completely change both of their lives. Daniel's job as a delivery driver for a private logistics company was simple: deliver packages quickly, avoid delays, and never go off route. The company monitored every second with GPS. Efficiency mattered more than anything. Around midday, Daniel was driving along a quiet road outside town when something unusual caught his attention. On the side of the highway, near a patch of trees, he noticed a motorcycle lying on its side. At first, he thought it was abandoned. Then he saw her. A woman in military uniform lay a few feet away, motionless. Daniel slammed the brakes. Company rules screamed in his mind. Never stop unless it's a delivery point. Every minute of delay was recorded. Drivers had been fired for less. But Daniel didn't hesitate. He jumped out of the van and ran toward her. The woman was badly injured. Blood stained her sleeve, and her breathing was shallow. Her uniform patch identified her as a U.S. Marine. Her motorcycle must have skidded on loose gravel. "Hey, can you hear me?" Daniel asked gently. Her eyes opened slightly. "Help," she whispered. Daniel quickly dialed emergency services and stayed beside her, using his jacket to apply pressure to her wound. Minutes passed slowly, but he didn't move. When the ambulance finally arrived, paramedics rushed her onto a stretcher. One of them asked, "You the one who called?" Daniel nodded. "You probably saved her life." Daniel simply replied, "Anyone would have done the same. But not everyone would have." Daniel returned to his van nearly 40 minutes behind schedule. By the time he reached the warehouse that evening, his manager was already waiting. The office door slammed shut behind him. "Daniel, do you know how much time you lost today?" The manager snapped. "I stopped to help someone injured on the road." The manager sighed impatiently. "You abandoned your route. She could have died. That's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is delivering packages." Daniel stared at him in disbelief. "So helping someone is a problem now?" "It's a liability," the manager replied coldly. "You broke protocol." Within 10 minutes, Daniel Carter lost his job. When he walked out of the building carrying a small box with his belongings, the weight of reality settled in. Rent was due soon. Bills were waiting. Lily depended on him. That night at dinner, Lily noticed his quietness. "Daddy, are you okay?" Daniel forced a smile. "Yeah, kiddo, just a long day." But after Lily went to sleep, Daniel sat alone at the kitchen table staring at unpaid bills. Still, despite the fear creeping into his chest, he didn't regret stopping. Not even for a second. Days passed. Daniel searched everywhere for work. Interviews came and went, but nothing stuck. Savings slowly disappeared. Then one afternoon, about 2 weeks later, there was a knock on the apartment door. Daniel opened it expecting a neighbor. Instead, 2 people stood there. One was a man in a suit. The other was the Marine he had saved. She stood straight despite a sling supporting her injured arm. Daniel blinked in surprise. "You're alive." She smiled warmly. "Because of you." Her name was Captain Sarah Mitchell. She explained that she had been returning from a training assignment when her motorcycle lost control. The doctors had told her something Daniel didn't know. If help hadn't arrived when it did, she would not have survived. The man beside her stepped forward. "I'm James Walker, legal advisor for the Mitchell Foundation." Daniel looked confused. Sarah spoke again. "I asked around to find the man who saved me. That's when I learned something else." Daniel swallowed. "What? You lost your job because of me?" Daniel shrugged lightly. "It's okay. I'd do it again." Sarah's eyes softened. "That's exactly why I came here." She explained that her family ran a national foundation supporting veterans and struggling families. Her father, a decorated Marine, had built the organization before passing away. "I want you to work with us," she said. Daniel blinked. "Doing what? Helping people the way you helped me?" Daniel laughed nervously. "I'm just a delivery driver." "No," Sarah said gently. "You're a man who stopped when no one else did." The position included stable income, benefits, and training. Daniel looked at Lily, who had quietly stepped into the hallway listening. Her eyes were wide with hope. "Daddy, say yes." Daniel felt something he hadn't felt in weeks. Relief. He accepted. Over the next months, Daniel's life changed in ways he never imagined. He helped organize aid programs, delivered supplies to veterans, and coordinated community support projects. But more importantly, he found purpose again. Sarah often visited the office, and she and Daniel developed a strong friendship built on mutual respect. She adored Lily, who proudly told everyone her dad was a real-life hero. One evening during a charity event, Sarah pulled Daniel aside. "Do you ever think about that day?" she asked. "Sometimes." "Do you regret stopping?" Daniel shook his head. "Not for a second." Sarah smiled. "Good, because that moment changed more than just my life." Years later, Daniel would look back on that day as the turning point that transformed everything. The day he lost his job was the day he found his purpose. And all because he chose compassion over convenience. So if this story moved you, remember this: sometimes the hardest choices lead to the most incredible outcomes. One act of kindness can ripple further than we ever imagine. If you believe the world still needs stories like this, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Because the next story might remind someone else that doing the right thing is always worth it. Heart.